Hello and welcome to lesson 2 of the basic music theory course. In this lesson I want to show you the flat rule for finding key signatures. So we've already done the sharp one, which took care of all the keys that use sharps, and now we're going to look at the flat rule, which takes care of all the keys that use flats. So it's very different from the last rule. The last rule, the sharp rule, you actually count back a letter from the key that you start with. In this one, you're counting forward a word in the rule itself. Okay, so I'm going to show you an example of how to do that. So let's take, for example, let me see, E flat major, I suppose, is a good one to start with. E flat major. Okay, so for this rule, you look to see where is E flat in the rule. Okay, it's there. It's number 2. It's the second word. And what you do is you count forward a word in the rule, which takes you to A. Okay, so that tells you what the flats are in E flat major. They're B flat, E flat, and A flat. B flat, E flat, and A flat. Okay, so you can see how it's very different from the sharp rule where we were looking for E major, not E flat major, just E major. We count back a letter from E and we get D. So that means E major has F, C, G, and D. Father Christmas gave Dad. This is very different. E flat major, you look for E flat in the rule and you count forward a word. Blanket explodes. And okay, so that's the rule. Blanket explodes and Dad gets cold feet. As I said, you can stick any words in there that help you remember them, just as long as the words begin with those letters in that order. So anything could go in there. Remember, there was another one that we did before where it was birds eat and down goes cats fast or something like that. So anything that works. So the sharp one is Father Christmas gave Dad an electric blanket. This one is blanket explodes and Dad gets cold feet. Okay, and you count forward a word in the rule. Let's have a look at another one to see if we can just perfect it, just for a bit more practice. Say we're looking for the key signature of D flat major. Okay, D flat major. Again, the same thing as before. Look for where D is in the rule. Count forward a word. I get you the G. So D flat major has B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat, and G flat. B, E, A, D, and G. And I'll just show you what those look like again in the treble and bass clef, the two most popular clefs that we use in music. So in the treble clef, your B comes first, your E comes second, your A comes third, D is your fourth flat, and G is your fifth. And in the bass clef, B, E, A, D, and G. So you can see that it's similar in some respects to the sharp rule. It'll tell you exactly what accidentals are in the flat keys and also how to write those accidentals in the key signatures, in what order to write those accidentals. Okay, so B always comes first this time. In the sharp rule it was F that always came first, but in the flat rule B comes first, followed by E, followed by A, and so on until you get to the last flat of the key. Okay, and to find that last flat, look for the key that you start with, look for it in the rule, and count forward a word in the rule. Okay, and that's it. So I'll just write out for you all the flat keys that this rule takes care of. So in the sharp one, the sharp rule used, it was used to find the keys of G major, D major, A major, E major, B major, F sharp major, and C sharp major. This will take care of all the other ones. This rule will take care of all the other major keys that use the flats. So it'll take care of B flat major. Okay, so find B in the rule and count forward one. So that means B flat major has B and E flat. E flat major. Find E in the rule and count forward one. So E flat major has B, E, and A flat in its key signature. A flat major. Find A in the rule and count forward one. Okay, so A flat major has B, E, A, and D flat. G flat major same thing. You can see the pattern emerging. Oh, sorry, I should do D flat major first. What am I doing? Let me see. D flat major, yeah, that's better. Find D in the rule and count forward one. So D flat major has B, E, A, D, and G. Now we can take G flat major. So find G in the rule and count forward one. So G has B, E, A, D, G, and C. And C flat major, count forward one. Remember I said before, C sharp major has all the sharps. So C flat major, you guessed it, has all the flats. B, E, A, D, G, C, and F. Okay, there's one that we're missing. Okay, now this is the hard one to remember. Okay, a lot of people were asking in class, how do I know when to use the flat rule? How do I know that E major uses the sharp rule and D flat major uses the flat rule? Well, I suppose by a process of elimination, all the keys that use the flat rule, nearly all of them, have flat in the name. As you can see, B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat, G flat, and C flat. Okay, there's only one that doesn't have a flat in the name, and that is F major. It's probably one of the earliest keys that you learn. I think it's in grade 1 theory for associative board. And it's a little bit difficult because it doesn't really fit nicely into this rule. It definitely doesn't fit into the sharp rule. If you try to put F major into the sharp rule, you can't back a letter from F and you get E. And then you'd be suggesting that F major has all the sharps up to and including E, which is F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, D sharp, A sharp, and E sharp. So immediately you're saying that F major has F sharps in it. So it doesn't make sense to put F major into the sharp rule because F major can't have F sharps. That's F sharp major. Okay, so F major doesn't belong to the sharp rule, and it doesn't really fit nicely into the flat rule either. You see if you can find F and then count forward one. There's not really anything to count forward into. So my suggestion would be to just remember that you count forward, but you go the whole way back to the beginning. Okay, and that gets you the one flat. F major has one flat, B flat. Okay, so F major has one flat, and then B flat major has two, E flat major has three, A flat major has four, D flat major has five, G flat major has six, and C flat major has all seven. Okay, so F major is the only flat key that doesn't have a flat in the name. I think you'll find that even if you don't remember that and you try to put F major in with the sharp rule, you find that you're hitting F sharp immediately as your first sharp, and it's nonsensical. It doesn't make sense to say that F major, all the Fs are going to be sharpened, because then it's not F major, it's F sharp major. Okay, so F major is the only one that doesn't have a flat in the name. So that's how I remember which key am I using. Am I using which rule I should say, which rule am I using, the flat rule or the sharp rule? Anything that has flat in the name uses the flat rule. In addition, you have to remember the F major. And anything that doesn't have flat in the name uses the sharp rule. So A major, B major, D major, G major, F sharp major, C sharp major, they all use the sharp rule. Okay, so that's basically those two rules. Father Christmas gave Dad an electric blanket, and blanket explodes and Dad gets cold feet. Those two rules basically take care of all the major keys that you're ever going to have to know. Okay, all 14, and it's also going to help you, as I said before, with your intervals and your triads and that sort of thing. So the next slide, or the next lesson, I'll show you how to find the minors. There's one extra step you need to do for the minors, but you should memorize these two rules first. How to use the flat rule, how to use the sharp rule, and all the major keys that use them. So practice, 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 and then move on to the minors, because the minors are a little bit harder. Okay, so I hope this has helped. And again, as before, if you need any extra help, just feel free to give me a call or email me through the contact page on the website.